Mr. Crane, let me ask you a question regarding critical minerals, and I do think it is timely that I just presented the chairman with, I don't know if it's a gift, Mr. Chairman, but I know it is certainly within the allowable limits. It's a hunk of natural graphite from the Graphite 1 prospect just outside of Nome. But we talk a lot about critical minerals in my state and what that means and why they're so important. Mr. Crane, you've indicated that you think that it is important, in fact, it needs to be a priority to be able to access our resources domestically, not only our energy resources, but as well, and I'm assuming when it comes to critical minerals, you feel that way as well. I've been a little bit frustrated with some of the things that we've seen from this administration. They're saying the right words about accessing our critical minerals, not being reliant on places like China, which we know we're so heavily reliant. But they're saying one thing, and then certainly with initiatives in my state, it seems that they're doing the other way. We're seeing permits being pulled, we're seeing right-of-ways being rescinded, applications for funding being passed up on. So just if you can speak generally to me as the nominee for Undersecretary for Infrastructure, whether you agree that infrastructure for critical mineral supply and processing in this country is important, is lacking? Do you think that accessing is a challenge? And what basically can you do to assure me that there's a plan here to help address our nation's critical shortage when it comes to these minerals?
Senator, thank you for the question. And let me start by saying I completely agree with you that this is an essential area that needs to be addressed. There's no point in just switching from dependence on foreign sources of oil and gas to foreign sources on other technologies where we have this Achilles heel of not, getting the minerals from China. In the Undersecretary Infrastructure, vertical, there is a manufacturing and supply chain office which has been funded with several billion of dollars, which is very carefully looking at this and is going to be identifying areas where we can directly lean in terms of ensuring those supplies. And so I'm extremely supportive of that and will implement that vigorously. And if you don't mind, going back to your opening comment, if I get confirmed and get a chance and get invited, I will come to Alaska. But last month, Secretary Granholm and I spent a whole day with the tribal and indigenous leaders here in Washington. I know that's not the same thing as actually being on the spot, but I understand the issues of the remote, communities, the energy needs in your area, and there's, I think, a lot we need to do to enable them to access the rural and remote provisions of the bipartisan infrastructure law. And I would very much look forward to working with you and your staff to make that happen.
Well, consider yourself invited. In fact, I've already got a place in mind. We'd like to take you up to the North Slope area, and in particular, the community of Utqiagvik. There's a facility up there, DOE's research facility at Aliktok Point. It's a great example of how federal and state agencies, as well as students from our university, can benefit from continued collaboration. So we think that assets like this are important to help out our national labs when we think about the scientific initiatives that are underway there. So you are invited as well as the other nominees here.